We have been generally said by one of athletics guru. I had expected when I have experts, they make things easy. We can just sit there and look at it, and they do all the talking. The editor of Complete Sport, Darius, is in the house. Hello, Dari.
Yeah, I'm glad to be back. This is my second home. I remember in the 90s.
Yeah.
This used to be my second home. Not this particular place.
Maryland.
HMS place, then
yes,
Pestalore.
Yes.
So I've come a long way with channels.
You're welcome home. I wanted to ask you to give us a highlight of 2015, but you just saw Abbas Abubakar talking here. What did you pick from what he said?
He hit the nail right on the head, because that is what happens in Nigeria. We get somebody else to come and reap where they did not sow, and at the end of the day, they find that they end up reaping nothing, like what happened in Beijing. We didn't reap anything, because they disrupted the program of most of the athletes, and by the time they got there, you see, it's not even about disrupting the program. Were you part of the program right from the beginning? That's why I was laughing when they set up this crazy standard. You see, you are not motivating the athletes, you are not providing the conducive environment for them, and you are setting high standards. And I'm sure the standard was set to actually checkmate some people from making the trip. That's why they put up those standards. Okay,
he's taking it away from me. Probably if we can have those standards, because as when the Nigerian Athletic Federation, when they brought out their own standard, people cried that wow, this is something. There is an ulterior motive or something behind that particular standard. But then the IWF said, look, we are going to the Olympics. This is the new standard. If it is possible, when that standard will come, we shall look at it. What's the difference between the standard we set for our own athletes and what the world body is saying? This is what it is now.
Well, the standards that the Athletic Federation have set are consistently higher than the standard that the IWF, the world body, has set.
It's not better. It's not better to have a higher standard than the IWF standard.
Well, it's not really done anywhere, because the IWF has said this is the standard you must be at to be at the Olympics, the highest level of sport. And what our federation has effectively said is that what their rationale is, unless you can get a medal, there's no point in coming. But that is not really the spirit of the Olympics. The Olympics is for the best athletes in our nation to really represent us. Now, what we're looking at here is the IAAF has revised their standards lower.
Okay.
So some of the standards, they've even decided we need more of those athletes.
The 100 meters, women 11.32, men 10.16, 200 meters 23.20 for women, and then men is 20.50. 400 meters 52.20 for women, 45.40. That means, for men, if you are running 10.16 for men, it means you can, you make it.
Yes, but the Athletics Federation standard is 10.09.
10.09.
And only one Nigerian has run that this year or in the last few years. So the question now is, do we want our best budding athletes to go to the Olympics, or do we want them to stay at home and just watch like everybody else? That shouldn't be the answer. The answer should be, we should have exactly the same standard as the world body, and we should encourage these athletes. I mean, look at Abbas. It was like a cry for help. He's saying, or the athlete he mentioned there, Orupe Ereokan.
Yes.
I mean, Orupe beat Abbas in the National Sports Festival in 2012. Orupe was running 46 then. Abbas was running 47. Abbas is running 45 now comfortably, and Orupe was running 46 for 3 years. It was only this year that Orupe brought his time down to 44.95. I mean, it's the 5th fastest time of any Nigerian ever.
At the middle distance?
At the 400 meters, yes. And they do not get the support that they need to make it to the Olympics. That time has already even qualified him for the Olympics. So
that's according to the IAAF standard.
Yes.
Because the AF standard, the qualification period starts from January. So as we are talking now, none of the athletes has qualified. None.
Daddy, let me ask him the same, because I'm asking you. I mean, if they are setting a higher standard than what the IWF is setting, it's not to say, look, they want to support them to motivate them to say, yes, if we can do this, then
There's nothing wrong in setting higher standards. Let's be frank with that. But you can only set higher standards where, let me use 2-3 particular events: 100 meters, 400 meters, men and women. You have like 15-20 athletes running inside 10-11, 10-1. You have people running 45-0, 45-5. For the women, maybe you have a couple of 50 seconds runners. Then you can now set a standard, because the environment is already there, the competition is already there. But in a situation where you only find an athlete, a male athlete, running a 10-0, apart from, what's his name now? Aguero. None of them has done a 10-0. In the last 3-4 years, none. In fact, the last time Aguero did was, I think, 2011 at the All-African Games. He did it again this year.
Yes. All-African Games here?
Yes. In 4 years. No, it's not about All-African Games. I'm just talking about the duration. In 4 years. In fact, I only use 4 years because of the All-African Games. It's further than that.
Yeah.
None of the athletes, apart from Aguero, has done a 10-0. And you are setting a 10-0-9. For who? The same thing applies for the 400. If not, what happened this year at the All-African Games, which I still question anyway, because you can't have that geometrical jump from 46 high to 44. It's never done. I'm still pursued by that time that boy ran. I'm still pursued by that boy ran. I'm not saying he took something, but I think we need to investigate.
Okay, Jimmy. Okay, I know we are pushing it because we're talking about, we want to look at 2015 athletics. Of course, these are experts, so when they start giving you details, it tells you that, yes, that is we are on course. We're also opening the lines now. You can be part of this. Those of you at home who have insight, who have inkling, who understand athletics. I know 90% of you, I'm sorry, I'm not indicting you, but that is the truth. 90% of you in Nigeria and Nigerian green blood watching this show, football. But today we're talking about athletics. We're talking about the first gold medal we got came from athletics. Shoma, individual. And also, we also got, athletics has given us more medals than football in terms of partner it at the Olympics and, all events. I remember our first international, also, the national medal came from jumps that came in from in 1952 or so at the games. Our first international medal we all, came from there. So definitely today we are saying you don't need it, you can do to run in your school. You just come out, you can run. So why are we not doing it? Jimmy, what is your highlights of 2015?
Well, I think I would love to say something about the standards, really, before talking about the highlights. Now, if you're setting standards that high, you have to consider the fact that you probably will be pushing some of these athletes to doping. And we don't have a doping body, an anti-doping body, so to say. We hear about WADA, we hear about USADA. But have we been able to get anti-doping body on ground?
So when our athletes were caught doping, where the samples taken, I was analyzed. Not in Nigeria.
No, what we're saying is, do you have a properly set up body?
Lab, another thing.
A lab, everything.
Lab.
I mean, standard lab. It's still part of what we say when we talk about sports policy. The sports policy is supposed to regulate a lot of the activities of different sporting federations. If these things are missing, we can continue to say all we want to say about federations, why they are not performing, why they are setting standards, why it looks like the reward policies and all that are missed and all that, but it's still about the sports policy. So, highlights, fantastic. I mean, you said something about not having anybody 10.10. I still ask myself, when Monavos was brought into the system, an athlete over 30 years old, are you trying? What are you?
Okay, let's hear from the caller what we are grooming. Hello. Hello, is that BC?
Good afternoon.
Hello, good afternoon. Good afternoon. I thought I heard you clearly a few moments ago.
Yes,
Okay.
I was saying that I thought I should let you know that you guys are doing a very good job.
Thank you very much.
Because I watch you regularly, and I'm one of your captive audience. And the men you bring all the time know their trade, and they're very versed in it. But what I want to say is, first, let's congratulate ourselves over yesterday's victory. Going forward, I think that we need to get our acts together. The gentleman was saying that there's no reason why we should be broke. That if you see what happens in the other climes, nobody who plans well will ever say he's broke. And if there's no money, how do you now get these things done? I think we need to really get our acts together in that direction. My own advice is that now we're in the season of change. The sports world are also waiting with bated breath to see how this change will also percolate down the line. I just think we need to get our acts together. And money, money, money. We can get money. And like you said yourself, many of these corporate concerns are supporting sports. So why should we be broke at all? So I think the bottom line is, let change also percolate down the line in sports. Right. Well done, guys.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Anyway, that is taking us on the broke thing, and that is the issue. He's talking about we not having a standard labs laboratory. Doping was part of the issues in 2015. We'll come to that as we move in. But then let's narrow it down. What are your highlights?
Well, I think we must touch on what he's highlighted here.
Yeah.
The fact that we don't have a really recognized anti-doping body. The reasons are very simple, and I think the challenges in athletics are much the same in football. Lack of transparency, lack of accountability. But another reason why we don't have those labs in Nigeria yet is because athletes are not running fast, so nobody cares. Right? If you're not going to beat
nobody will test you.
Nobody, exactly. I mean, nobody is going to test you if you're not running fast anyway.
Okay.
So the challenge becomes when we start running fast, if we put in the management and the structure in place to support these athletes to run fast, then that is going to become an even bigger problem. Most of those things happening now are suppressed. We've heard that some athletes have been tested positive at the African Games. We don't know which athletes there are. We're just hearing whispers. But it's the same thing, the lack of transparency and lack of accountability. And if we go back to Abbas's interview,
yes,
it was a cry for help. These athletes are poor. They need help. The athletes on Nigeria's team, I can tell you many of them, I speak regularly, some of them don't have transport money to go to training. Some of them don't have money. They want to call somebody, they have to flash them and get called back. These are people who have won medals for Nigeria, right? Yeah. And there has to be money for them. Okay. Just yesterday, just on Friday, Access Bank had a press conference with the AFN to announce the international marathon, which is going to be held in February.